Why did we decide to change studios?
Ooh, this person is in the know. This might be one of the staffers. Because I don't know that the fans... I mean, I guess if you're following us on Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or something, you guys probably know we switched studios. But that other studio was like the size... It's how many... I mean, what is that, like...
It was intimate.
200 square feet in the controller?
An
300
intimate space.
Yeah, and this place is bajillion square feet. It's literally like...
We needed more studio space to explore.
It's like working in an airplane hangar.
When we hit the cowbell, we really needed to bounce off of all of the walls. Or not even bounce off walls, just resonate infinitely
off
within the space.
Off of perfectly acoustically treated surfaces.
What?
Actually, one more thing though, on that note. One thing that we're doing now that was a driver in this decision to switch studios is that I wanted some more live drums. Like we had been doing a lot of programming and programming based stuff. And it was time to start adding some roomy sounding live instruments. And the other day, like Rob was playing percussion, not even drums. He was just playing like congas and bongos and things like that. It was, not to
be confused with bongos and congos.
Yeah.
Because I always get those mixed up.
That's funny if this is the only substantive like sonic reference point that anybody's getting on this album. Like so far we've just been like
congos.
It's like well,
Congos.
It sounds like the guys first of all they said there was like a bunch of sample based stuff and bongos. So like it's basically like gonna be like an EDM drum circle.
Okay. What is your favorite piece of gear so far in the process? That's easy. It's certainly bongos.
Brad, did you buy any new guitars for this record?
Fortunately, our engineer Ethan has all the best guitars, so I just use his until they kind of become mine, I think. That's a thing that actually goes on?
Oh, you mean like if you squat on a property for long enough, you own it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a common law marriage that I have with his instruments. Has any particular album or artist acted as inspiration for the direction of this album?
That's a good one.
That's a
you know
great
what we
question.
could do?
Whoever asked that question was really smart.
At some point in the future, not yet probably, but we could put together like a playlist of like cool
of what
stuff
we've been listening
to, and I love doing that. You guys know that I have some playlists up, but none of the ones that are up publicly are representative of the album. So
I would say too, just working, we've had a lot of collaborators in, and as much as we again know how to approach songwriting, everyone does it differently. So being able to like sit with someone and kind of pour ourselves into their process, I think has been really
I don't think
exciting.
We've talked a lot about this is the longest form like description about what's going on that we've done. So we haven't really talked about collaborators on this. I think I said to somebody at one point that like the people we're collaborating with aren't like artists that you know whose albums you've bought. These are, I mean, they're songwriters.
Yeah.
You know, they're people who oftentimes write songs for people like that. And part of the beginning of this process was, the idea that even at any point in any career, like you could never know everything, So the idea of picking the brain of somebody who's done it for many years and has, made some cool music that I personally like reaching out to them and saying, hey, let's get together and write a song. 'Cause that's what they do.
Yeah.
And we get together and neither one of us just like takes the reins and runs off with it. We all get together and generally you and I and, a collaborator would get together and, let's see here's how.
So just reaching out to people whose work we love and then finding out, there's so many different ways to start a song, many of which were pretty unfamiliar to us. I mean, the idea of starting a song it's happened before, but really going in just on concept and words and then having melody flow from that and then having music come last is really different. And for me, it's so interesting. And I feel like that's a totally valid way to write a song. And I like get what that is now.
When we have done this on this album, we showed up in the morning with maybe a loose idea of what we wanted to do, but there was nothing when we started. Like we walk in at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m.
It's usually like what's on your mind. What are you really thinking about?
Yeah. Oh, I talked to my friend and this is going on with them, or this happened to me yesterday, or oh, this makes me so mad, or this makes me feel this way. Like, and I think a lot of the stuff has been rooted in those things that happen to you every day, like stories, and they're kind of like, to some degree, I feel like a lot of them are very specific on the record. Like they're
personal, and I think a lot of it feels conversational because that's how it was created.
Right.
And for me, it's really gratifying to be able to complete, even if it's in a loose form, like really basically have nothing and then have a complete idea that you can like share with someone like 4 hours later. It's just like, can I curse on a podcast?
I'm sure you can.
Fuck, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Fuck, that's cool. You can curse on a podcast, or you have a song in 4 hours.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's cooler. The song is probably a little cooler than cursing on a podcast, though.
It's so interesting. These are in order, and it dovetails into the next question, which says, I actually read this differently. It says, does it have a similar sound? But I was actually thinking more about, is this album, I was still thinking, I honestly thought this question said, is this record more personal than your previous albums? And I think they're all personal. I think that because these songs were started with words and lyrics, there is a unique quality to it that feels very intimate. And in terms of the sound, does it have a sound similar to any of our previous albums? I don't know. Does it?
No, I don't think it does. I don't think it does.
Does our band even have sound? Like
at this point,
at
this point, I think that we've gone in enough different directions, even within albums. You know, like what was I was talking to somebody about how weird it is that Victimized and Castle of Glass were both on the same album,
or Roads Untraveled and Victimized. And I love Roads Untraveled, and that's a song that I don't know. Maybe people love it secretly at home, but it's like not a song that's on the radio. Yeah. We don't play it a lot, and it's really cool. There's songs like that where I look back and I'm like, wow, that was cool.
That was cool. We wrote that song. Yeah, but I mean, in terms of like what have we, this sounding like anything else? I'd say pretty firmly no.